Hi, my name is BREGJE and you are watching Estona tutorials. So for today's tutorial I have been sent a gift and it's a wonderful gift. It's an Atomstack laser and to be precise it's the A30 Pro or the Maker A30 Pro. And the company and I agreed that in exchange for a 10-minute video I would do one single review or one single video. But there's just so much to show you that I really can't get this done in one video. So I think this is a big plus for the company. I am going to expand and do a couple of videos so I can really show you what this machine can do. And I think that is a bit of a giveaway of how I feel towards this machine because I was really surprised. So take a look at the unboxing, how I put the machine together and at the first couple of results, and after that I will be back with you with my final opinion, or at least my opinion after working with the machine so far. Coming home and finding all of these packages next to the front door, of course, is a tool junkie's dream. In exchange for an honest tutorial, as always, I get to show you what's inside. And a drum roll please, because here it is, my new laser. And for those of you who are following my channel, you know that my previous experience with a laser that I got from another company, let me state that quite clearly, wasn't too good. And I was quite open and honest about it. So some of you mentioned, if you do get another laser company that contacts you, give them a compliment because they want an honest review for their product. Otherwise they wouldn't choose you. So Atomstack, you're already in the pluses here. And look how nicely everything is wrapped. And it looks like we are going to have to put this together ourselves. Everything feels quite heavy. It's all made of metal. And this is everything that you will find in the box. And I have to say, of course, I didn't see the laser yet or how it works, but I am pleasantly surprised with the quality of everything. And now let's see if we can put this together. The laser comes with this installation guide. And as you can see, everything is mapped out step by step. So this shouldn't be too hard. And even the tools and a spare lens are included. So the manual is very clear in what needs to be done. And if you don't understand how it is explained, you can just follow the pictures. But this part shouldn't cause you any problems. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but what makes this laser so great, or at least I hope it will, is that it has a maximum laser capacity of 36 watts. And of course, 36 watts is quite a bit, so I am really looking forward to seeing what this laser can do. When all the screws are in place, you can tighten them diagonally. And the basic frame is done. I wanted to show you this because now we have to continue with step 2. We have to assemble the upper support foot. So I was looking at this support foot and thinking, oh, how should it go? But really you can see very clearly, oh, it has to go on like this. So just follow the pictures and the text, and this really is very nicely explained. Now we need to add this part, and we are going to slide this over the frame we just made and make sure that this part is in the front. Let's see how this is supposed to go. Oh, it's already on there. Perfect. Now I am going to add a third foot over here. And now we are going to add the control box. Make sure that the red button is on your left. Turn down this part and then you can assemble it like this. And I have to say that putting together this machine is a breeze because everything fits and connects how it is supposed to. And now there's this small thingy in the front that will prevent the laser from going or moving in that direction. I took off this wheel here, but then there was this little pin, so I still couldn't go that direction and I can't remove the pin. I am going to notify Atomstack, but I think it might just be a little mistake in this machine. It's not even worth mentioning, or normally it wouldn't, because it's very easy to solve this. I'm going to show you how in a minute, but seeing as how I am making a tutorial, I decided to leave this part in. I am simply going to undo these screws, remove this part and the footrest, and I'm going to slide it on in the back of the machine. And now I'm simply going to slide it on the other side. And this really was a 2-minute job. This is the last screw. And now we can continue. And as you can see, now everything is moving like it should. And if for some reason your machine isn't running smoothly, you can take your wrench and tighten or loosen these bolts to change the height of these wheels, so you can change how smoothly this is running. I think this one, for instance, is a bit too wobbly, so I'm placing this part in here, getting my wrench, and I'm tightening it a bit to lower it. And I think that is way better. And how do you know if you haven't tightened this too much or loosened it too much? You can lift the machine in a 45-degree angle. And if it slides down easily in one go, without slowing down or going faster, then it should be good to go. And now we are going to place the belt. I'm going to place it with this side down. And let's see if we can get it up on this side, because it needs to go under this one, over that one, and under there. I got it. This was the hardest part of assembling the machine so far, so that's a very good sign. So again, with the grooves facing down, go under this one, over that one, and under that one. And now you should be left with a piece like this on both sides. You can slide in this thingy over the belt. Put the little screw in. And fasten it. Now, go in on the opposite side and repeat this process. Do pull on this belt and make sure that there is some tension on it all the way to the back. And if that is the case, you can tighten the screw. And if for some reason there isn't enough tension and this isn't bouncing back, just open up the screw, pull on the belt and tighten it. A bonus, due to these screws, this one can't slide off anymore. I moved over this screw a bit because the manual states to place this one in here. I think it's just for storaging. And now it's time to connect everything. First off, the laser itself, which will just slide into place. And I am going to tighten the screw. We are going to connect the magnetic display here. And we need to connect these 5 thingies that come from the control box to the machine itself. And we are going to use these zip ties to make sure that these cables can't get stuck between the machine. And let's install the air assist. Hook up this part on the air pump, add some power, and we can get started with the software. This power outlet will go in here, this one in the air assist, and we can connect both with this one to the power supply. I rearranged my workshop and I set this up on a desk, and I downloaded and installed the Laser GRBL software. And really, if you follow this installation to the letter, you will be perfectly fine. I skipped a few steps because I thought, well, I want to work with Lightburn, so there's no need for me to install all of this. Wrong, then it will take you a couple of hours to get everything right. So follow it to the letter and really nothing can go wrong. And now we are at the point where we can get this thing started. I really like how easy it is to focus your laser. So you can place this accessory underneath the laser part. Hold this to make sure it doesn't fall down. Twist it so that it's nice and secure, and if you take away this accessory here, the laser will have the perfect distance to your working surface. And when your laser is positioned, you can simply store this here. And now let's create some noise. I'm going to turn on the machine. I uploaded a picture of an earring because of course we are still making jewelry here. And now it's vectorized, and that means that it will follow this line. So this is perfect for cutting, but I want to start out with engraving. So I'm going to check this box here, dithering. We're going to keep the quality at 8,000 lines per millimeter. And again, you can find all of this information in the manual. And I'm seeing some dots here and I don't want them. So let's see if we can change that. Just like that. And in case you are questioning what settings should I use for which materials, go to Atomstack.com, click on support, and then you can choose material settings. You can click your machine and you will get an entire list of settings for all different types of materials. I want to engrave some MDF, so I looked it up. The engraving speed should be at 6,000. I should choose M4 dynamic power, that I can read in the manual, and I want this to have or to engrave on 18 to 22% power. Oh, I should add an extra 0. And I can choose how big I want my earring to be. I think this is just right, and I'm going to click create. And now take a look at this small button here. This is an important one, and I am going to show you why. The machine will not have its own starting point. This is something that you will have to take care of. So I have placed this here, and now if I press that little button, you can see exactly where it is going to engrave, and you can see if your material is positioned in the correct way. And if I am happy with how everything is looking, all I have to do here is press the play button and the machine will start engraving. And this actually is a very nice engraving. It's not too deep. It's exactly how I wanted it to be. But of course you can play around. So if you make sure that the machine will go a bit faster, it will be even lighter. Or if you up the power and make the machine go slower, it will become a lot darker and deeper. So you can play around with it. But for a very first engraving, I am really happy with this. There's just one thing I forgot. And that is to turn on this one, because this one does come with a built-in air assist. And now let's try something else. I am going to use the same earring file, but this time I'm going to vectorize it. So I am going to cut it. We have to take a look at the speed and the power over here. For cutting, it should be at about 350 with a maximum speed of 80%. So I'm going in here, 350, dynamic power and a maximum speed of 80%. Well, let's just follow along. And let's see if the machine can cut it in one time. And how fast this will go. This is a 4mm MDF plate, and I think that the 80% power was a bit much. And as you can see, this just pops right out. And for a first test, I think this is a very nice result. Let's see how this one does if we turn the power down just a bit. And this is how you can play around, get to know your laser and learn how everything works. I just write down which settings I used and I will leave my results in there. Now we already did this one. This was good, but I thought maybe we can down the speed a bit. So I went from 75 to 80% to 65 and 70%. And this is looking good from the front, but as you can see in the back, it didn't cut all the way through. It's almost there, but not entirely. So these settings aren't okay. And that is when I decided not to do so much with the power, but to adjust the speed. So I set this at 300 instead of 350. And I think that this is a perfect result. Of course, it has to become a pair, so I cut out another one as well. And you can leave it as it is or use a paint marker and give it your own design. And you can make them in any size, and all you have to do is add a nice hook and you are left with a beautiful earring. Now on to some new materials. And now we are really going to put this machine to the test. This is a 10mm thick piece of MDF. And let's start out with positioning the laser first. So I'm going to place this little thingy underneath. Turn the knob. Take this out and it's good to go. I am running some tests here. And I'm afraid I have the power up a bit too much, but let's see how this works out. I have a very good feeling about this. So I was very curious about this one, but when I took it off, I could already see in just one pass, 10mm MDF. So I am truly surprised that it could cut this in just one pass, and I still can alter the speed a bit because I set it at 100mm per minute at about 80% power. So I think I am going to play around a bit and see what happens if I go to a speed of 200mm per minute, because I think it will cut through then. But really this is such a surprise. This is just perfect. You can see how nice and clean the cuts are. So let's try some more materials. And now for something totally different. I found this little wooden box and I thought, why not engrave a little crown on it for one of my children? So this is the original image. And if you go here, you can see how it should be looking after engraving. And you can change the colors or how dark or light you want. Just move around all these things here. I think this is looking nice. I am going to engrave Paulownia wood. I found on the Atomstack website that it should be engraved with a speed of 7,000 and a power of 450. So let's just see where this will take us. Okay, so this isn't the best result. At least it did work. It is a nice engraving, but color-wise I was expecting something different. So I am going to alter my settings and simply try it again. So I changed some things and this is looking way better. Now I used dithering. So let's see how this is going to engrave on the little wooden box. And this already is so much better. If I was really going to use this, I would tweak it a bit more, but I think you can really see what this machine can do. And this only took the machine 2 minutes. And now for a totally different material. So I'm going to step away from the wood here and I'm going to try to engrave these coasters. And again, I'm sounding a bit like a broken record, but I really am impressed with the quality here. This really is engraved very deeply into this tile. So I am just wondering what other stuff I have in here I can engrave. So as you can see, everything is cutting, and this is the last time that I'm going to show you cutting like this, because as you can see there's a lot of smoke coming from here. The next time I am going to use this machine, I am going to use it in a protective box. And these are my results after one evening of playing around with this laser. And as I told you before, it's a lot of testing, retesting until you get it right. But once you do get it right, save those settings and you can use them straight away the next time. And I am going to think about how I can incorporate this in my jewelry business, because this can also engrave ceramics. Of course, I just started with my pottery, which you can check on the Estona Arts and Crafts channel. So maybe I can even make some pieces of jewelry and use the laser to engrave them. All options are open. And I think this is very interesting as well, creating your own earring designs, and you can really make these in bulk with whatever type of wood or acrylic or whatever you want to use. And again, a fun project just for myself, because I really like these wooden flowers and I think it's very nice to be able to give them to someone and they will last forever. So you can find them in my web shop, or at least you will shortly, because I am really in love with these. And of course there was this crown that I played around a bit with. As you can see, this one is much better, and I think it's just awesome that you can take a picture or a drawing and turn it into something like this for an engraving. Again, there are so many things that you can do with this machine. It is really nice to play around with. Thank you so much for watching so far. Now you could really see I am quite enthusiastic. This machine has way more power, and this actually does do what it promises. There are a lot of pluses to this machine. I really love that it's made of very sturdy material. This is quite heavy. You can just feel this is something you can work with for a long period of time. I really love how easy it is to adjust the height of the laser with just one knob, and this simple thingy here that can really help you with focusing the laser. So great. I love that the air assist is included with this machine, so it's not something that you have to buy separately. I think the pricing is right. So these machines are an investment, but if you can do what they promise they can do, and they are not all kinds of hidden costs or things you have to get extra to get it to work, then I think it's a fair and reasonable amount for so far as I can say now. So please follow the upcoming tutorials to see if I still think about this after a couple of weeks. But for now, really I am pleasantly surprised that this actually did cut through 10 millimeters thick MDF without any problems in just one pass. That's awesome. There are 2 points that could have been a bit better in my opinion. One is this piece of aluminum sheet that you place below your work so your workspace doesn't get damaged. Of course, it's very nice that they included it, but I would choose a bigger piece of sheet metal here, just so it can really cover the workspace of the laser. So that would be a recommendation from me to Atomstack. And secondly, and please keep in mind that I still am getting used to the software, so I have never worked with this before and I have to learn and adjust myself as well. But what I did notice, you can send the machine to a starting point, that's right here. But your material is a bit lost in space, so you just have to lay it out here, adjust it a bit with your hands, hope it stays straight, instead of being able to slide it against one point. So you know, if I place my material here and the laser is at its starting point, it will always do the same thing. Again, it's not a very big thing because of course now I do have a laser, so I can make something to use in that way, maybe like a mold or something. But it would be helpful if there was a certain starting point for your material as well. But maybe I am going to figure out some things, how I can get around this, or maybe I missed something. So if you do have a tip here, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And instead of the one tutorial, I am going to make at least one more, maybe even a couple more, because I got a protective box here and I think that will really help out with the fumes and stuff. And then I won't smell like a bonfire at the end of an evening of lasering. And I am really looking forward to playing around with this machine because I am surprised this really exceeded my expectations. So, so far Atomstack, compliments for you for the contact we have had about the machine, for the shipping, the manual, how everything is looking, and I'm looking forward to getting to know more about the Atomstack Laser Maker A30 Pro. Whoop. I hope you had a lot of fun watching this tutorial, that you learned something. I am happy I can bring you some positive laser news, and I hope that you will follow my process, and I will see you again at the next Estona tutorials.